Okay, it's Felicity for Get Your Rock Out here at Bloodstock 2012. Welcome to Bloodstock.
Well, thank you so much.
So, it's kind of sunny, it's kind of raining, we're in that mid-ground. How are you finding it so far? You've had an exceptional set this morning.
Well, thank you very much. We had a lot of fun. The rain didn't start until after we did our thing, so that was nice. Yeah, we had a lot of fun today.
Wonderful.
Yeah.
And the crowd, it was quite an early set, it's always tricky, but the crowd really seemed to be getting into it. I mean, did you enjoy it just as much as they did?
I think I do. I like to see when the fans are happy, glad to be there. That makes me go, yeah, and it helps me give them everything,
Wonderful. Well, obviously it's Bloodstock. It's a gorgeous open air festival when it's nice. Do you have a preference when it comes to playing the festivals, or playing more of the kind of indoor venues?
The only thing about playing festivals that bothers me is the festivals where there's a lot of dust, right? Where there's dirt, the mosh pit starts going, it makes this big cloud of dust. It gets in my throat, and then I can't sing. To do brutal death metal vocals, you gotta
sing. Yeah.
You can't. Yeah, it's. But today there was no dust, so I was able to do my thing, and was very happy about that.
And do you ever find it a real strain having to produce such extreme vocals, like night after night after night?
Absolutely. Sometimes on a long tour, the first thing to go is your voice.
Yeah.
And it's also very hard when you're meeting fans every night. There's just a germ exchange that happens, and you're inundated with everyone's flu sickness. So it's very hard to stay healthy through the tour. And first thing to go is the voice.
And so do you have kind of ways of coping with that? Do you neck bottles of cough syrup every night before bed?
Actually, yeah, there's a lot of cough syrup going on. There's a lot of cough drops going on. There was a tour I did where my throat was so raw for so long. Every night in the tour bus, I would go to sleep with putting a cough drop right here, right? So that I could actually sleep. Because you can't sleep when your throat is on fire. So by the end of the tour, I had a fucking cavity, right? So, I got home, and of course the tooth had to go. So singing metal cost me a tooth.
So for all you wannabe metal fans out there, don't do it if you value your teeth.
That's right. There's a price to be paid.
Yes, there is. But come to think of it, a tooth is quite a small price for a fantastic career.
Well, I made that trade. I made that choice. I said,
back,
okay.
Would you sack in Nile for your tooth?
Well, I've given my whole life to metal. I've been playing a metal band since I was 16, and I'm 49 now.
Wow.
That's a lot of years of metal.
Yes, it is. So, you've had a new album out recently.
Yes.
Fans are kind of citing, this is really a return to form for you guys and return to old form. When you were writing it, were you thinking to yourselves, we want to get back to what we were, or did it just happen that way?
Well, what we wanted to do was to strip things down and present things in a really raw, clean form. Like, what we wanted to present on the record was exactly what you hear when you stand in the practice room. Our hands, the sound of our hands on the guitars. It's a really clean record. It's too clean for some people. I've seen a little bit of a backlash about it. But for the most part, it's a really clean representation of the musicality and the instrumentation.
And looking back now, obviously you get to that stage where you think, I really wish we had another week, we could have changed that. Are you at that stage, or are you still really happy with it?
Well, right now we're still really happy. It'll take me a while to start going, could have done that better, and that better, and that better. Yeah, but it happens with every record. Yeah.
And so, obviously, you have a wealth of material to choose from when it comes to playing live sets. How on earth do you go about deciding what you're going to play?
That is the toughest question every day. Which one of our favorite songs do we scratch off to fit in our hour or our 45 minutes, or today 40 minutes? So it's very painful, because no matter what you do, someone isn't going to hear the song that they wanted to hear. Yeah.
Have you ever thought of doing like a purely request show?
Actually, that has been one of the ideas tossed about. Like, we thought, well, why don't we just get everything ready and rehearsed, and then that day online, see what people ask for and write the set list from that.
Yeah. Well, hopefully we'll kind of hope to see that at some point soon.
I'd like to see it happen. Yeah. Yeah, I'm sure people would ask for the most insane shit. Yeah. Shit we'd never play.
I mean, with such kind of technical playing, are there some songs that you think actually we'd be really, really nervous about playing this live?
Well, the thing about Nile songs is 95% of them are all a challenge to play in a live situation. So there's always an element of danger. Every time we step on that stage, we're like, all right, we got to be focused. There's a lot of concentration involved. A lot of the musicianship in this band kind of goes over people's heads. But every song that we've ever put on a record, we had to play it in the band room first. So we could theoretically play anything, but we discovered about 2005 or so, there was a song on Annihilation of the Wicked called The Burning Pits of the Duat. It was a very challenging song with some really tough guitar parts. We said to ourselves, all right, we're going to take this thing out on tour, we're going to play it, and we're going to rehearse it so hard that we got it fucking nailed. And we did. It was very much an achievement. But we noticed that people didn't necessarily appreciate what they were actually hearing. A lot of that shit goes right over people's heads. So we kind of learned a lesson. Just because we want to play it
doesn't mean people want to hear it.
Doesn't mean people necessarily want to hear it.
Do you have a certain song that every time just before you're playing it, it kind of terrifies you a bit and you're like, this is the song that I am most scared about playing live because I'm most worried about?
Well, right now it's Enduring the Eternal Molestation of Flame. The musical challenges in that song are so demanding. There's a lot of beat inversion where the beat turns around backwards inside of itself, and it's a really fast song. It's like 282 beats per minute. So you have to literally be utterly focused just to play the guitar with the drums. And when you throw the vocals into the equation, it's like your brain is on fire trying to match up the different vocal rhythms against the guitar rhythms, which are all flipping around the beat all crazy. It's like a big challenge. We've played it on a couple of fests so far when we had time to do it, and it's a lot of fun. I think in Russia when we did it, people heard the intro for it and they started clapping. I was like, wow, somebody actually understands what it's going to take to play this motherfucking song.
Yeah. Well, brilliant. You guys, obviously, I know you have 1,000,001 interviews to do, and so much as I'd love to talk to you all day, sadly, I'm going to have to start wrapping it up. But the next kind of 6-12 months, what can we expect from you?
We've got a big tour coming up with Creator, Morbid Angel, November and December. Man, it's going to be good. I'm a big Creator fan. Ever since their first record, I saw Endless Pain sitting in the record store. I was like, I never heard of Creator, but that's a really cool cover. I'm gonna buy it. And of course, I became a fan. Yeah. And of course, Morbid Angel. My friendship with them is, quite public.
Wonderful. And anything else that we can kind of hope for that you're not really allowed to tell us about yet?
Well, I don't know. We're gonna tour our asses off this coming year. Metal, 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 metal.
And if you had to give one piece of advice to bands out there that were kind of trying to break through into the industry, what would it be? Apart from, of course, don't suck cough sweets at night.
Never give up. When you're wanting to run a mile, right? If you want to run a mile, right, you can't stop. Right? That's all you have to do. Today will actually run that mile. You just have to keep running. If you stop, you can't run the mile. So what do you have to do? You just have to keep going. And that's where most bands fall to the side is if you quit, if you give up,
you're never going to get there.
You'll never get there. You have to keep going, even when times are tough, even when it seems the world is against you. You have to keep going, stay true.
Brilliant. Well, thank you so much for taking the time to talk to us. It has
Thank you
truly
so
been a
much.
pleasure. And we will really look forward to seeing you back here very soon.
Thank
Thanks.
you.